What's up, BookTube? I'm Mikey, and this would be Janella, and this is his shelf, her shelf. Alright, so today I'm going to be talking about a book that I read back actually in August. I really enjoyed it. It's called Sleeping Giants by Sylvain Neuvel. I first heard about it on the Books on the Nightstand podcast, which is run by two people who work for Penguin Random House, and it immediately set off all sorts of bells and whistles and awesome things going on in my head, because it's basically an awesome science fiction novel combined with like giant robots, or a giant robot, and I'm like, 12-year-old me's going, holy crap. I was all about giant robot TV shows when I was a kid, so kind of brought me back to my youth. And when I heard about this book on the podcast, I was like, I knew I had to find a copy, and I did some digging, found out they actually gave these paperbacks away at Comic-Con 2015, and had to do a little bit of hunting, but I managed to get my hands on one and pretty much plowed through it in a day or two. It was really, really cool. So the book starts off basically with a young girl who is kind of going around in the forest and somehow falls into this big hole in the ground and lands in a gigantic hand. And that kind of sets the whole theme of the book. You jump forward 20 years, and this girl, her name is Rose Franklin, she is now in charge of basically kind of uncovering the secrets of what this hand is, and slowly but surely more and more pieces of this giant robot it's so awesome to say, they're finally uncovered, and they start piecing it together, trying to figure out exactly what it is. So all the research is conducted kind of, or it's run sort of by this really enigmatic guy. I don't think he's ever given a name. He is basically, I want to say in charge, kind of very behind the scenes. He's kind of pulling all the strings of all the research, and slowly the United States government gets involved, the military. They investigate all over the world trying to find new pieces of the robot, which is, I think it's titled Themis or Themis. It's some kind of mythological reference there, so I'm not very well versed on that kind of stuff, so sorry if I'm messing up the name. But it's just really, really crazy. There's a whole lot of action, a whole lot of mystery, a whole lot of just things that set off all the sci-fi alerts in my head, and I was just completely enthralled with it, just completely captivated by it from pretty much page one. The whole book is actually told in sort of like interviews. It's been described as kind of a mix between World War Z, how it's kind of told through people's recollections, through interviews done with the people, and it's also been compared to The Martian. I think that one maybe a little bit less. It definitely does get a little science-y, a lot of big words, and really, really kind of goes deep into all of the technical aspects of it, which I guess is probably kind of where the Martian comparison comes to. But it's just the idea of it being told in sort of interviews rather than your normal, dialogue, and setting all the scenes and whatnot. It's all told through people talking, basically, being interviewed by this mysterious guy who's pulling all the strings. I definitely think that this is one of those sci-fi books in the same vein as The Martian, where despite the fact that it is kind of science fiction-y, it's definitely not only for sci-fi fans. I think this is going to be a really, really accessible book for any sort of reader, sci-fi fans or not. The whole book had a ton of twists and turns kind of all throughout it. It's really, really kind of keeps your attention with all the crazy things that end up happening, and all the kind of destruction and havoc that is wreaked in the scientists and all these people's explorations of what this giant device is and who created it. There's plenty of plot twists, lots of action, lots of adventure. It's really just crazy seeing all the things that all the scientists that Dr. Franklin and all of her cohorts, I suppose, get themselves into, the kind of near international crises that end up spawning from their trying to find more pieces of this giant robot, of the people who are hurt by the discovery of all these different pieces all over the world. It's pretty crazy all the way through. It's really it really keeps your attention. It really is just full of I was super stoked on this. It's so hard for me to put into words a lot of the time when I get really excited about a book, but this just kept me going through it. I was able to plow through it, like I said, in probably a day or so. It was just really good. And this book is actually part one, I believe, of a trilogy that is going to end up coming out. So this book hasn't even come out yet, and I'm already way too excited for book two. There's a pretty crazy little twist during the epilogue of this one that's definitely setting up for a future book or two. So I'm really excited to see what the author comes up with for part two. So once again, that's Sleeping Giants by Sylvain Neuvel. I'm going to superimpose a picture of the hardcover cover because it's super cool. This is just the advanced reader cover. The cover for the actual book itself is insanely cool. So please check that out when it comes out, early 2016. Well worth your time, well worth a read. Doesn't matter if you like sci-fi, doesn't matter, you know, if this is your whole thing. I think it is going to be really accessible for anybody who wants to read it. You don't have to be a nerd like me to enjoy this one. Thanks for watching. Next time I think we'll be back together, Janelle and I. Why don't you, down here in the comments and all that kind of stuff, post about what you'd like us to cover, what kind of things you'd like us to talk about, and we'll do our best to suit your needs. Until then.
You know where the hell we have been.